Calvary, remember, God took all of creation into death. And when he raised from among the dead, he raised up a brand new creation. And that is why the instructions are, don't look any longer at man according to the flesh, but look at him through the eyes of Calvary. Look at him as that one lost sheep that has went astray. And you look past the faults, and you look deep down on the inside of them, and you will know of a surety that they have a spirit. And by speaking words of spirit and life, you can cause that life within them to be quickened. You see, that's why Paul told the Corinthians, he said, you are our living epistles, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. Because as you speak words of spirit and life, they enter into the hearts of men, and the words begin to germinate and cause the spirit of man to begin to wake up. But you can never wake somebody up by telling them how bad they are. You can't wake up a prostitute by telling her she's a sinner and she must stop prostituting her body. But you can deliver her if you will tell her the truth of her being. Do you know that you have a spirit? Oh, my, I cannot tell you how many people have come to us over the years. We get phone calls almost daily. And emails. I get hundreds and hundreds of emails from all over the world of people who say, thank you for telling me that God loves me regardless, because I've been set free. We have testimonies of people being set free from everything you can imagine, by knowing that God loves them unconditionally, that he dealt with their sin, and all they need to do is learn to enjoy him. In the Gospel of John chapter 1, it says this, the law came through Moses, but grace and reality came through Jesus. So which would you rather have? Would you rather live by the law or live by grace? Remember, the law had a curse. That if you didn't keep the law, there's 58 verses of curses that come upon you. But Paul tells us in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 13 that we have been, what? Loosed. Let's look that up. Galatians 3:13. Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. What does that mean? The only people that got the curse of the law were the disobedient. So what Paul is trying to make you realize here, that when you do make a mistake, when you do fall into sin, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us because he hung on the tree to forgive you. So the law came through Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. The word grace, one of the meanings of the word grace in the original languages is enjoyment. And the word truth means reality. So it's proper to interpret the verse this way. The law came through Moses, but enjoyment and reality came through Jesus Christ. So as Christians, we have a choice to make. We can live by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and stay under the law of Moses, or we can learn to live by grace, learn to live by enjoyment and reality. You remember Melchizedek in the Old Testament. There isn't much said about Melchizedek. But one of the most important things you'll realize about Melchizedek is he came bringing the bread and the wine. God is raising up today what we call the Melchizedek priesthood. A Melchizedek priest will bring to you the bread. The bread is the living word. The bread is that word which will quicken and give you life. And the wine is for the enjoyment. So we can live by the law of Moses, or we can learn to live by the tree of life, which is simply learn to enjoy Jesus. Live by enjoyment and reality. You can enjoy Jesus so much when you realize that he really did pay for your sin. And as I shared last night in Hebrews, it said Jesus is the author and the finisher of your faith. If you can learn to trust that. You see, for too many years, we've trusted in our own ability to live as Jesus lived, and we know that's impossible. But if you can just learn to receive forgiveness and know that as he authored your faith, he will also finish your faith. Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 26. But Jesus, now once in the end of the world, hath appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. As it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this the judgment, so Christ was offered to bear the sins of many. And unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin. What does that really mean? I know we thought it meant when he appears in the sky, but there's also a deeper meaning to that. When he appears within you, when Christ is formed in you, he appears without sin. You see, that life in you, that new creation life, does not know sin. That new creation life only knows how to love and obey God. God is so much more than I could imagine many years ago. As a young Christian, still full of habits and sin in my life, I used to lay in my bed at night and I would just wonder what it would be like to live as those apostles lived, to follow Jesus. It took me years to realize that same life and that same ability was in me. There's only one thing that you need to know to live as Jesus lived on the earth, and that is to learn to obey his voice. I talk to Christians today who don't know and say they have never heard the voice of God. And I believe the reason for that have these belief systems. And they are a great hindrance to what God is doing today.